The only chance I've got of staying alive is to stay dead. Find out who wants to kill me. And why.
I've put the call through. They're looking for Captain Ashley now. I'll have a look at that while you're waiting.
And if I know the words to Danny Boy, I get my head blown off.
With pleasure. I was there 6 months.
This is a paymaster and stores HQ. There's a lot of money in property here.
What is this, anyway?
It's a research report on a construction company. There's got to be easier ways than this, Crowe.
You want an expert to analyze that thing? Ashley's expert.
Captain Ashley will see you. Corporal, take these 2 gentlemen to see Captain Ashley. You really must have influence.
So far you've failed, Quentin. Don't let it affect your judgment. If anybody's personal about killing Burnett, it's me.
Not anymore.
I want the research report on Burnett's company. You'll need time and an expert. And once he strips it down, he'll know who I am.
If I don't get him first.
Quentin, you aren't listening. You will try and chase Burnett. The one two chases in the open. It's Crowe. He's being checked now. Give me 2 hours and I can tell you the expert he's going to. Just wait here.
Your visitors, Captain.
Thank you, Corporal. I didn't believe them. Oh, Crowe. Bourbon whiskey. Oh, bird of omen, bad penny. Well, go on. Kiss me. Now you can explain.
Well, I did send you a Christmas card.
Yes, in 1972. But I'm still pleased to see you. Who's your friend?
Lou Burnett, Jane Ashley.
How'd you do?
We need a favor.
Oh, as ever, and it'll mean trouble. He cost me a year's promotion once when we booked into the Minster as Field Marshal and Mrs. Montgomery. You look haggard. What's up?
Well, do we start at the beginning?
There have been 3 tries at killing me. The 3rd time I decided to stay dead. We've been on the run for 6 months trying to find out who and why.
Is he serious, Crowe?
Yes. You should see the scars.
A man called Weber dug this up for me. I built a construction company from nothing to £8 million. This is what's happened to it since I've been dead. If I can strip it down, I'll find who I'm looking for.
Here, drinks are over there, Alan. Help yourself.
Well, it's nice to have somebody else do the work for a change. The world owes us a little relaxation.
All we have to do is forget Quentin loose with a gun, Dieter with his head smashed in.
Quentin,
Where else would I be?
Helen Crowe was the answer. Now find the lady. Her name's Captain Jane Ashley, and she's at Readingham Barracks. Make it quick.
Oh, sure, I know the place. Easy, like knocking off a corner shop. Except for 500 armed soldiers, I can't get in there, nobody can.
Nobody's asking you to. Wait for her to come out.
Oh, typical Crowe. He hands me 2 days' work and then goes to sleep.
That long? You sure?
Mr. Burnett, I am a qualified accountant. I took articles with one of the best practices in London, but I didn't belong to any clubs. I didn't wear a bowler hat and my umbrella wasn't neatly rolled. But I am still a good accountant. Now, 2 days is conservative. Whoever compiled this report knew his business, and your firm's in trouble. Wait, Crowe. Now, the company was owned 60% by you, 40% by a merchant bank. It's reputable, profitable, and full of assets. Burnett Construction has now been put up for sale, and 5 firms have turned it down. Well, I can't see why. At least it's not immediately obvious from this.
Maybe Weber left something out.
No, he wouldn't cross me.
He sent Dieter to kill you.
That was personal. This is business. I sold Weber something. All I have to do to unsell it is send 6 cables. He knows that.
Fact is, then, you've got a prosperous-looking company that nobody wants to buy.
I was getting an offer a year. I could name half a dozen people who wanted to buy me out.
Not anymore.
Sam Maguire, 7 million, cash. No bits of paper.
Well, go and talk to him.
He can't. He's dead.
Then you go.
20 years of sweat. Somebody's making sure I don't leave any statues. No, that's that. Thanks, anyway.
There might be something else, but it needs a lot more work.
Can you do it?
Given an incentive.
Oh, Kennel Holt, Swan of Minster Lovell, log fires, early nights.
Something like that.
Now, wait a minute.
Please don't be embarrassed, Mr. Burnett. When Crowe was a member of the brutal and licentious soldiery, we were a little more than comrades in arms. I'm not doing you any favors. I've got a half share in a cottage now. In the mess, they call it the bird's nest.
There's all the bottom-pinching subalterns scuffling for the key.
Some of them.
Is Friday all right?
Friday's fine. It always was.
And then I can go and see this, who?
Sam Maguire. Listen, I wish you'd stay here. I'd be happier for you with soldiers at the gate. A lot of people have been hurt.
Now, how would anybody know about me?
How did anybody know a lot of things? Brains, money, digging, the dossiers, the records. Now stay here.
Mr. Burnett, I used to run into this attitude when I was making what's laughingly called a career in the city. Now, I'm not only capable of breaking down this document for you, I am also very capable of looking after myself.
Can you stop her, Crowe?
Yes, he could, but that's unfair. Now, here's the address and the cart tracks showing how to find it. We're there on Friday in any case. Oh, and I'm on duty in 10 minutes. Sergeant, my visitors are ready to leave.
Corporal, go and dig those 2 Herberts out of Captain Astley's quarters. And keep an eye on the stroppy one.
Betty! I don't care if you've made discreet arrangements with Steve McQueen. No, my favorite crows come home to roost.
Thank you. Oh, there'll be a chap called Crowe asking for me. Tell the desk, would you?
Mr. Maguire?
That's right.
Alan Crowe. Gin and tonic. I'm working for a firm of stockbrokers. We're doing a survey on the construction industry for one of our clients.
Well, if they want to spend their money now, I got one piece of advice. Don't.
It's one firm in particular, Burnett Construction.
Yes, I can tell you about them. When Lou Burnett was alive, it was the one construction company to beat. Anywhere in the world. You name it, he did it. Using his own rules.
Oh, how?
Oh, I could tell you stories about Lou forever. Australian job. Off the reef. We were supposed to be splitting it. But Lou could get labor, and I couldn't. So I handed the whole job over to him. Then I found out that all he'd done was put shark nets up. And I got caught.
They say the company was put on the market. Quietly. And nobody wanted to buy.
Oh, yeah.
They said you were interested at one stage.
Yes, I still am. But they can sweat for a bit.
£4 million. Sounded reasonable.
No, it's a bargain. It was worth twice that much when Lou was alive.
Even with his tactics?
Look, Lou was good. He didn't have to be popular. We both had some Swedish bulldozers on order once. But Lou got wind of a dock strike. I didn't. So he double ordered from France. Got the job, I lost design money.
But he didn't do it on his own, surely.
No. That's what bothers me. Anybody who worked for Lou had to be the best. That's why there's something wrong with the setup now.
Such as?
Oh, no. All I've got is a theory, and it cost me money to get that. You want some more stories? It looks as if it's about old Burnett's going to leave.
Seems a pity.
Oh, that's the way it goes. Do you know who built Hadrian's Wall, son? I mean, actually built it with his bare hands. Well, sure as hell it wasn't Hadrian. Nobody ever remembers the contractor. None of us leaves a monument. I thought Burnett might have done. But he didn't.
Large scotch, please.
You fellow works for Mr. Crowe.
You could call it that.
Money's no good in here. Cheers.
Cheers.
The lodging's all right.
No complaints?
I found them. They should be all right. Clean as my old grandma's woolly bodies. Except when she was swearing it and all away. It's a dirty place, Nick. When's Mr. Crowe coming in?
Soon, I hope.
Well, he better, and quiet. There's a big nose out on him all this week. 3 private narcs and another fella. All asking for Mr. Crowe. We'd never heard of him, but all the same, not everywhere's as quiet as this place.
This week?
I told you.
I thought I'd buy you a drink. Or I take off for my small and private springtime.
It's cancelled. You're not taking off.
Why? Aren't any snags with the car.
None at all, Mr. Crowe. Real flash wheels, as used by visiting royalty.
Get on the telephone. Tell your Jane Ashley to stay where she is with his barbed wire and guns.
Come on, Lou. It's all organized.
It's a scrambler. Just do it. You'll call it instinct, feeling, whatever. This place has been full of people asking about you. You, Crowe, not me.
I'm picking her up. I'll be with her all the time.
I'd rather have 500 soldiers. Do it, Crowe, please. Telephone her.
I don't think this is security at all. I think the sergeant's mess is running a raffle on the colour of my frillies.
I'll mention it, Captain Ashley. We need a new ping-pong table. Drive carefully.
I will, Sergeant.
Hardly goes above 30. Drives that thing like a bike. Wish it belonged to me.
I've been the accountant for Burnett Construction for some years, Tony. One of my first major clients. Do you mind some advice?
No, I never mind. I'm grateful. I'm pretty used to advice.
I was fond of Lou, as much as anyone was allowed to be. I was even fonder of your mother. When my wife was ill, she was one of the few who bothered to visit and take books, instead of just making the routine telephone call to the nearest florist.
I still miss her. More than Lou.
Yes, I can see that. That's why we're talking now. Lou was nobody's saint. But he worked hard for every penny he'd got. Now, there'll be a share of that money, if only a small one, coming to you, if Maguire buys Burnett Construction. I'd be very wary, if I were you, of using it to join any investment scheme emanating from our Mr. Preston.
Why? I like him. I like the way he lives. He's fast, but he's bright. Even Lou said so.
When your stepfather was alive to control him. But now, He's talked to me about this overseas property scheme. Now, I've no real reason to be suspicious about the source of his funds. Fact remains that I am. I'd advise you to be the same. All right?
Thank you, sir. It's good of you to take the trouble.
I spoke to the other girl who has a share in the cottage. The message was I drive too fast. Jane likes to look at the countryside, watch the leaves change color. Besides, she wanted to buy steak and wine. Something about the work being over. So she left early. Those wheels had better be good, Turtle. Sandbagged. Quentin's trademark.
End of the line, Crowe. For me, anyway. Nothing's worth this. All the people who just want to help and get mangled instead. There's about 35,000 left. Take it. You've earned it. I'm going back in the open.
Giving up.
If you like. I'm tired of other people paying the price on me. Somebody wants to kill me this badly, they're welcome.
Not now, they're not. We're too close.
You don't give up, do you?
No.
Just like I used to be. Will you look where it got me? And her? One favor, Crowe. I'm going back in the open where Quentin can find me. Kill him for me.
I'll do that anyway. For me. For you, for Ashley, Lou. Don't give up. You can do that much for her. There was a lot of joy. Gone.
Tell me again, what did the other girl say on the phone? All of it. Think!
Something about the research being incomplete because of time. Something about a draft balance sheet being prepared while Weber was collecting that research. It'll be in some accountant's safe. It's the real key.
I know where the key is.
Told you. I know the place, in a city. It's one of these dark gaffs like a railway station. Full of lavatory tiles and respectable. It's like dozens of them. There's never anything in them except papers.
Can you get us into this one?
No bother, except there's nothing worth pinching.
I don't want to pinch anything. I want to look at a set of accounts.
Oh, I like that. There's lots of wages in that. If you want a quiet read, why don't you go to the library? I'm sorry, Mr. Crowe, but I've got a living to earn. I can get you in there, but I'd like to come out with the rent money.
How much rent money?
Whatever it's worth. Grand.
And more, if it's quiet enough. If nobody knows we've been there, nobody knows we've seen anything. We need half an hour.
No bruises, Turtle. Buyers in if you can.
Sounds a nice little holiday. What'd you say the name was?
Prendergast. Private officer.
On a crook, is he?
No, he's an honest man who digs up figures. Those are the ones I want to look at.
Not polite accounting procedure, Prendy. Not polite at all. I don't mind hanging around your waiting room for half an hour, but Maguire's not going to like being postponed. He's buying a company, we hope. What was the big priority, anyway?
Mr. Maguire has agreed to come in this afternoon. And that, Mr. Preston, was a detective inspector. Last Friday, a young woman called Jane Ashley was murdered. 3 days before, according to one of her colleagues, 2 men called on her and asked her to analyze a highly expert survey on Burnett Construction International. I preferred you, and particularly Mr. Maguire, not to be present.
I'll buy that.
Who were the 2 men?
One of them was named Crowe. The other gave no name. But his description, according to the sergeant of the guard, fits Lou Burnett.
Well, that's impossible. Lou's dead.
Precisely what I told the police, with documents.
And were they satisfied?
Of course.
Crowe. He was at the inquest. Did a job for Lou in Germany once. Ex-mercenary turned insurance claims settler. Fast on his feet. Capable of dead bodies. He could be working for Maguire.
Now, why? In what capacity? Mr. Maguire has complete access to all information concerning Burnett Construction here, in this office.
Yes, I suppose you're right. So, it's none of our business.
Thank goodness.
And we can get on with selling Maguire the company without losing the fillings in our teeth.
What about the girl who was murdered?
Again, it's none of our business, Tony. That's why we pay such high rates for a police force.
We should have gone with Turtle. Or waited somewhere else. This is too open. Sergeant of the guard knows your name.
You never worried about the open before.
This isn't me, it's you.
Well, thanks for the concern, Lou, but organized signals are better. This is one pub where they can smell a policeman 3 blocks away. And the ugly up there in the apron taps the bar.
Real rule book, are you?
I'm learning.
Well, try this one on. We call the police. Sell them, Quentin. Passport number and full description.
No, Lou. Oh, no. Quentin's mine. No police, no judge, no jury. Me.
First, Mr. Maguire, may I apologize for the sudden postponement of this meeting earlier in the day?
Well, it's no bother. I think I had the same visitors myself. Well, let's get on with it, shall we?
There were certain issues on which you required confirmation. First, ownership status in Burnett Construction International. Merchant Bank, 40%. Mr. Hammond here has 10% as the late Mr. Burnett's stepson. The remainder is wholly owned by Mr. Burnett's daughter and 2 or 3 minor shareholders. Any takeover, therefore, can be arranged without undue difficulty.
Providing the price is right.
That's not your concern, Preston. Yours is the one piece of the company I shouldn't want.
Well, that makes you stupid. It's the one subsidiary out of 4 in the group that makes the most money.
It's the riskiest as well.
Burnett didn't think so.
Oh, come on, son. I watched it. You made a killing in property and then you flew too high. Lou bailed you out and took 60% of your company for doing it. And that's why it's called Burnett Land, not Preston Enterprises.
Whatever it's called, I still have 40% of it.
Providing you maintain a guaranteed profit to the holding company.
I've maintained that profit for 3 years. All right, then. Split the firm up if you want to. But if you're making offers, Maguire, remember my 40%, remember the profit it makes, and the price I might want.
Don't lean on me, son. I remember you when you were one of the little lads running around with your land options before the government put the pliers on you. And the market was going up like a rocket.
It still is going up like a rocket, if you can smell the right places to look.
Yes, well, I'm not a ferret. I build things.
I'm currently preparing draft interim accounts, which may make the slight acrimony of this conversation unnecessary. 4 main companies make up Burnett Construction International. Now, it should be possible to value them separately.
Not without board consent. And I am on the main board. I say we don't split the group up. I'm not in favor of selling separately.
Well, you'd be a fool if you were. You can run your deals now with a big pile of solid money from the group behind you. But when and if it's my money and you're out, you'll be tapping on finance house doors again.
I doubt it.
You're not saying much for somebody who owns 10%.
I'm listening.
You're a director as well, Tony.
That was Lou's idea. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm qualified. I'd rather listen.
Lou's dead. You're not the office boy anymore.
I don't think I was ever that.
Don't kid yourself, Tony. When Lou was alive, we were all office boys.
Well, you've had my proposition, and you've been punting this company around for 3 months. I'll have a look at those figures on the balance sheet, Mr. Prendergast, and I think we'd better talk some more.
A word in private, Mr. Maguire. Glass of sherry, perhaps?
And polite goodbyes for us. No politics, Prendy. No knife job.
It is possible, Mr. Preston, to use figures for politics, but this is not the manner in which this firm's reputation was established.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you a question, Mr. Maguire, which will have bearing on the presentation of figures. Is your reluctance to acquire the Burnett Land subsidiary just a dislike of Preston himself, which I find understandable? Or do you have commercial reasons?
Both. Construction, contracts, bricks and mortar, I understand. Speculation, gambling, property, I don't want to. It's as simple as that.
Nothing more?
Only rumors. And no Lou Burnett around to jump on them.
Fortnight security gives her a drink. 2 drinks. Seem reasonable, so I put it to him straight. He's on 24 quid a week. He can earn a bonus, or he can get tapped under the ear. He seemed to prefer the money. Especially if all you want to do is look at some papers and nobody's going to know you've been there. And he seemed very pleased. Thought he might go to Majorca this
You
year.
ought to be on Children's Eye, Turtle. Let's have the rest of the story, quickly.
It cost 200 quid. 10 o'clock, he'd be in a basement with a very suspicious furnace to look at, and a door will be open. And when we come out, he'd be busy reading travel brochures.
Provided you can get in the safe.
From what you say, Mr. Burnett, all I need's a tin opener.
Just in case you're worried, I checked the binding on the research and nobody's had it to pieces to copy it, so you should be in business. Check it yourself if you like. The job was expensive. Bodies always are. I'll let you know how much.
Lovely piece of work. It's about 1900. Looks good. It's all flash. It's the sort of thing you make brass rubbings of. Still, I suppose it stops the office boy nicking a sheriff.
It's that easy. Get on with it.
I've watched a lot of profit being counted in this room. Organized a lot of money. Feels like I've never seen it before.
You nostalgic and turtle complacent is all I need. We're supposed to be breaking and entering. Let's act like it.
I haven't broken anything, Mr. Crowe. Here you are.
Here it is.
Well, that doesn't look much.
Only 5,000 or 6,000 men working on jobs up to £100 million.
Let's get it copied and get out of here.
Do you know how to work one of those things?
That's my chance to find out. Bloody thing's broken.
Oh, forget it, Lou. Let's just take the figures.
Can't. You want Quentin's boss. If he finds out we've got these figures, he'll move tools to it. Check the wiring on the plug.
I'll do that.
We said half an hour. Better creep down, make sure he means it.
We'll collect you.
Right.
Plug's all right.
Right. Try it again.
I don't think we can persuade McGuire.
We don't have to. The figures should do that.
Well, you know more about it than I do.
I should do. I started it. That's what's sticking in McGuire's craw. I made a fortune and I made it look easy. That's the bit he doesn't like. I should have calluses and mud on my boots. Lou was the same. It's not my firm he objects to. It's my reputation. Besides, I'm a speculator. We're a shady lot by definition.
Yes, but you'd think he'd know it was a good investment.
But a risky one. And he doesn't mind that. He objects to the fact that I did it just using a telephone and not a shovel. Look, We'll get the figures from Prendergast in the morning, and then we'll find some four-ale bar where Maguire can talk his own language.
I wish I were as confident.
You're bound to be nervous. I only own 40% of a subsidiary. You own 10% of the lot.
I thought the pub's closed at 11.
Only if you pay for the drinks. It's the law. We're guests of the landlord. Besides, it isn't a pub anymore. It's an office, isn't it?
Tomorrow morning, Crowe. We get our elbows dusty at company's house. I need my own financial reports for 5 years. It's a laugh, isn't it?
If you were easily amused.
Mr. Preston, I appreciate your customary urgency. The interim balance sheet is being typed at the moment. It will be ready tomorrow.
I need it now. Provided the figures are all right and your handwriting is legible.
It has been for a number of years, and no one has ever doubted my figures.
We really would appreciate it, Mr. Prendergast.
Very well, Tony. Susan, take 2 photocopies of the Burnett construction accounts you're typing, will you, please?
I'm sorry, Mr. Prendergast. The copy machine's broken. We're waiting for the man. It was broken yesterday.
Well, you better take the documents out to be copied, and do it yourself, will you, Susan? This is confidential material. Well, I'm sorry about that, gentlemen. It'll take a few minutes. While we're on the subject, Mr. Preston, there are certain items in Burnett land that I hope can be adequately explained to your tax accountant.
He knows the rules, James. A car here, holiday there, a few repairs now and then, all for other people. Jumped up clerks, mainly. It's the way we do business when planning appeals are up for chat. There's nothing illegal about it.
Susan?
I've got the copies, Mr. Prendergast. The machine must have fixed itself. Somebody's been using it anyway.
Good. Bring them in, will you?
Nobody's copied that balance sheet already, have they?
I took it out of the safe myself this morning.
We went cross-eyed hawking out figures at company's house. I thought that was it. I didn't expect a human computer act.
Shouldn't be long now.
Don't worry. They think you're working out a new betting system. I've had 3 people ask me for tips.
I know who it is. And I know why.
I'm enjoying the exercise, Lou, but this is the 3rd building site we've crawled around.
2 to go. One of them's only 50 miles away.
Did you see what you want?
Most of it. This site's in a bit of a mess, isn't it?
Oh, I've seen cleaner, but that was when Lou Burnett was alive and running them. This bunch of lump layabouts wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes on any of his jobs.
When's this one due to finish?
3 months, they reckon.
What about you?
A year. Shortage of this, shortage of that. Can't get deliveries, lorries hanging about.
Now, who's got the progress chart materials?
Progress chart? Oh, aye, that's how it should be. Now it's sign here and forget it. Hey, it's not like it used to be. I remember when Burnett was alive. He gave me a bottle of whiskey and £10 once. No reason, not Christmas, nothing like that. Just a cold night. That's what he said.
got out of a big warm car, said to keep an eye on the job for him. Yeah. We had a smoke. Well, he knew his trade, didn't he?
You let us in on the job, though, didn't you?
Well, why shouldn't I? You're civil about it. Most of the time, the only people I see are flash-addies in fake uniforms, with big dogs who get a bloody fortune for letting them bark.
Well, thanks, anyway.
You push this through a bit quick.
Why hang around? It's a marketplace. Let the customer see what he's buying.
And Mr. Prendergast will certify the figures.
I've already done so. I drew them up.
Well, I'll have to run my tame calculators over this, but I don't see any bother.
The whole group? Or am I still a separate splinter?
I'll see to it that your figures are the ones that get looked at closest. Then the whole group. Well, young Tony.
I think your price is fair.
And 4 million. With Lou alive, it would have been 8. I'd like to see it go through for your sake and your sister's.
You'll keep the name, Burnett Construction International.
Oh, no. That's not who's building them anymore. Lou wouldn't have kept my name on his boards.
Stu, I'd make more money as an undertaker. Yeah, I know it's easy meat, but I'd be happy with a few reasons. Why use me when the setup's as neat as this? All right.
All the doors and the windows are at the front, so I'll cover you from here. If you're any longer than 10 minutes, I'll come in.
Make that 15.
Well, well, well. They told me, Heraclitus. They told me you were dead.
And you should know.
You're a little late, though, aren't you? I don't think you can come back to haunt me.
I'm not haunting you. 5 site visits, and 1 line on a draft balance sheet are. I've been stock taking across jobs I know. And the figure you've got on your 1 line that'll take McGuire 6 months to check, it's called work in progress. Proves you stole £300,000, then had to kill me because I'd have found out and crucified you.
And now you're dead. And the fiddle gets blamed on you.
This place, the Maserati, the Corfu Villa, the Paris flat, the private jet, the whiz-kid image.
Good for business. You agreed to it.
So why steal?
Not steal. Divert. As you say, work in progress.
Oh, it's just a figure on a balance sheet. When times are good, nobody goes around and counts the bricks or the bulldozers. Or checks on completion money or whether an option's real or split down the middle for a percentage. Nobody can really keep track of what a set of jobs is worth. Cash money, not just a paper estimate. Then the market drops, then you get your fist in the till while you can.
Then you were dead. Lucky for me. Drink?
No, thank you.
You should have kept an eye on me, Lou.
Tony was supposed to do that.
You threw him up the ladder too fast. A boy in a man's job. You got sentimental. About a stepson.
How much of your sticky-fingered money did it cost trying to kill me?
The morbid interest surprises me.
Doesn't matter. What does is who helped you, besides Quentin.
Nobody.
You're going to tell me. Who was it? Had to be somebody who knew a lot more about me than you do.
Don't you believe in luck, Lou? Not just once or twice, but all the time. Luck. It's my middle name.
Come to finish it off, have you, Crowe? Go ahead! I told you I was sick of the blood.
I'll have reasons, naturally, and motive.
Reasons I don't know. Money, perhaps. Motive I don't see, can't see. Mind you, I've been wrong before. I'd like to be wrong this time, but I don't see how I can be. You knew where the research was. One phone call set up Ashley. You knew where I was with all the facts I needed. You didn't know how much Preston would talk. Why you, Crowe? Why the hell did you have to join?
I didn't. It was a setup. Only this time it's me being framed. Go on. Have a look at the gun. It hasn't been fired. And I'm good, but I wouldn't back myself across 20 yards of lawn for a fast hard shot through windows. It's a scope sight and a sniper's rifle job, which means that Quentin's out there. You were wrong about Preston. He was just a thief and nothing else, and you were wrong about me. If they could frame you the way they did, it was lollipop time to frame me as well. It had to come. Split us up. Hope we'd kill each other. I told you we were getting close.
If we can get out of here. I hope Preston remodel this place. It backs onto the road in a solid brick. I've got a choice. The window or the door.
2 bodies on the lawn? No thanks. We'll wait until daylight.
It'll only make it easier for him.
If you're going to commit suicide, at least say goodbye.
That's the way you go. We go to the front door.
Who's we?
Me and Preston.
Quentin, is that you?
Your monkey's dead. You're next.